Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Two Joes and a Pro. As always, you have your hosts, Kenny, Ryan, and Brian. I'm glad to have you guys back. My guys, like always, I ask how you guys are doing. How was your week?
It's great.
Great.
Just ready to roll.
That's
It's
the most
always
enthusiastic.
the same.
I know. That's why I let him go first.
I'm
How was
fired
it,
up.
Brian? It was okay. It was just a good weekend. That's it? Yeah. Just good.
Yeah. Man, they don't care about our week. Let's just
They
roll.
don't. They don't.
Okay.
They want to hear.
Okay,
the-
my
the
bad.
good
It don't
stuff.
really. Who cares about our weeks, right? Like nobody cares. I care though. That's why I asked you the damn question. But anyway, let's get straight into it. The Olympics is just wrapping up. So it's a lot of the U.S. ended up winning all three categories: gold, silver, and bronze. So shout out to the Olympic teams, all from fencing to basketball to water polo, all the sports. Shout out to them. Most importantly, shout out to the men's and women's basketball team, Olympic team who won the gold medal. Women, we already knew you guys were going to do your thing because you guys are true hoopers. And the men, I'm just going to go out and say I apologize. I know KD, was in his feelings a little bit and telling all the people that doubted him that to go F off, essentially. And I was one of the people that doubted him, right? I said that they weren't even going to medal. And in the group play, it looked like that. They didn't look too good. But then when it got to, the actual tourney to get to the gold medal game, they balled out. And they just rode on KD's back. So it was a KD show. And, he has every room and reason to talk. And congrats to them winning that. So, yeah. Also, do you have anything to say to that, Brian?
Oh, I just want to say, KD needs to get off his high horse a little because in the past, Team USA wouldn't have even dropped any games. So, just saying, don't just lay back and be like, oh, we'll play when it matters. Okay, you should play every game like it matters and go out there and kick everybody's ass and just get it over with.
That sounds like a true competitor. I like that. I like how that sounds.
Can I get something off my chest, Brian?
So,
Is your beard off right now? It looks
It's
longer.
just the
on...
lighting.
Oh, okay.
it's because of lighting.
It looks shorter on one end.
I mean, it ain't like brushed out or anything. It's just wild.
It just looked like
does
one
what it
side
wants.
was up
He had
here.
a double lever. Yeah, he had a Gumby.
Yeah, it's the lighting.
Yeah, I was like, oh my goodness, that's bad.
Dang,
No, it's good,
that
it's good,
boy,
it's good.
that boy need to trim them edges. Them things is burned.
Nah. Just let it go.
Anyway, so as far as free agency, I know we talked about it last week. It picked up just slightly a little bit. Of course, I'm going to talk about the Lakers. They got Westbrook, and then we got every old every old good NBA player in the past on our team. We got Melo, we got Dwight Howard back. We got a couple other guys back. I think the Kendrick Dunn pickup or the Nunn pickup was actually pretty good. But Malik Monk and all those, who cares? Chicago, they got DeMar DeRozan.
The ARP squad.
The ARP squad. And then LeBron with the tweet talking about, oh, you guys gonna doubt me? Y'all gonna doubt us because we all old. Keep sleeping on us. I was like, Brian, like, bro, nobody's sleeping on y'all. It's just the fact that you grabbed every piece that you could possibly grab, you just grabbed everybody. So, but
Well, and this is getting ridiculously out of hand now. Like, yeah, I know super teams existed before LeBron started doing it. Like, got it, but it wasn't like this. Like, these guys are taking like the minimum just because they want to go play with LeBron in LA. Like, come on, what happened to the competitiveness in people? Like, come on.
they want to get in Space
Like,
Jam
look
3.
at Giannis. He had Chris Middleton, and he won it. Who else did he have?
Chris
Nobody.
Middleton was
He ain't over there building some super team. God, it's just disgusting what LeBron's doing in LA.
What
Getting
do you
all
think
of
the
his
reason
homies
is?
together. Oh, yeah. Don't worry,
What do you
guys. You'll get your $1 million while I get my 45.
Why
Sick.
can they do that? Why do they do that? Like, do these players not need the money? They're just like, yeah, screw it.
Exactly.
Or do they
Yeah,
make
they're
so
just,
much
they're
money?
screwing themselves.
Do they make
They're
so
like,
much
"Oh,
money
I'll
from
take the minimum."
endorsements?
No, but you got to think about it. They do make money from endorsements, though. But all the guys that's taking the minimum, are either they already proved themselves, they already got multiple big contracts, or nobody's really taking them, so they're hoping they can go to a team like the Lakers and get more exposure, so they can hop from there to another team and actually get a decent contract, right? Like I think Nunn is the only person that we paid. I think 2 years, $37 million. But like Malik Monk took the minimum, Dwight Howard took the minimum, Carmelo Anthony took the minimum. But Dwight and Carmelo both had big contracts in their past, right? And then Malik Monk is coming from a team that he really didn't get that much exposure in the Hornets to a Lakers team where he's going to get playing time. So like those guys are going to take the minimum. And anybody else that's trying to win a championship is going to take the minimum because they believe that LeBron historically is going to get close to the finals, right? Besides this year that passed. So they're like, oh, let's ride his coattails.
Hey,
Yeah, I'm just saying, I'm sick of it happening in that league. And it's not just the Lakers. It's other teams are trying to do the same thing.
But
it's just gross.
Yeah, I guess you can say that.
You know, don't just join a team because you want to win a championship. Like, you should still get your paid what you think you are deserving of. Don't be taking the minimum just to go to that team.
It should be something.
Do they have? They don't have franchise tags. Do they have franchise tags?
No.
It's not. It's
they
not
have bird rights.
Franchise tags. Yeah, bird rights, and then like you're restricted free agent. Like you can get offered by somebody else, and then I can offer you the same thing. You have to stay with me if I do that, trying to match that deal type of thing.
I only ask that because like in the NFL, it's like so much different because like. If you are taking like Brady for so many years, like took like less than like the league, like he took more than the league average, but like it always looked like on paper that he was getting paid more, just like everyone else. But they were like pushing it out because they knew he wasn't going anywhere. He was staying on the team forever, and they could just push it out. But like doing that like affects the rest of the league. So like when another QB tries to sign later on, it affects like the market value. And I don't know if it works the same in like the NBA. Like with franchise tag being like the year who was it? Adrian Peterson signed like a ridiculous deal, and then like a couple years later Todd Gurley signed a ridiculous deal, and then that brought up the franchise tag so high for running back that it made it like not possible for people to like franchise tag running backs unless you were the Steelers trying to keep Le'Veon Bell. So like you could see like the market value for certain positions going down. It doesn't seem like it's that way in the NBA.
Yeah, right now it's the wild, wild west. Like it's kind of disappointing the amount of money that players are getting offered that are not even good, right? Like you got guys that's like minimal, or not minimal, just medium level players, right? They're not superstars. They're just middle level, right? And they are getting paid $125 million. Mediocre. I don't want to say mediocre because they're better than mediocre. Mediocre is like you just in the league on minimum. They're like that step above. They're they're star level, not superstar, right? They're star level players, right? If this is Madden, right? They got the silver. They're silver star. They're not the bronze. They're silver star level players, right? Superstar. That's getting 125 million, right? But then you got guys like John Collins, right? Besides throw the alley-oop off the backboard last year, what did he really do? He got signed to 125 or 150 million 5-year contract, and it's like, what? You got some guys that's getting these $180 million. It's like, what? But it's the NBA is like whoever wants to offer you the money, you can get it. You know what I mean? It's just like pick your poison, pick your number, and then go from there. But yeah, that's all I really had. I had DeMar DeRozan. I know Brian is a big fan of him. He signed with Chicago with Lonzo Ball, and then Chris Paul and Kawhi stayed put, and then Kyle Lowry, of course, he went to the Heat, and then Kemba got released from OKC, and he's with the Knicks. But yeah, that's what I got for basketball.
Sweet. Bye.
Oh, it's baseball time? All right, go ahead and take a nap, everybody.
I guess people wake me up when Spider Tack comes back.
God,
that was some exciting stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was. I need a scandal.
Oh, man.
Someone do some steroids.
Listen, all I want to say is I got to rant about the stupid Red Sox. They did not add enough at the trade deadline. They have lost all but 1 or 2 games since the trade deadline. Right? Okay, and meanwhile, they've lost 8 games. Yeah. Meanwhile, they've lost the lead in the American League East. They're now a wild card team, and they're slipping on that. The Yankees,
yeah.
they are 8-2 in the last 10. Okay, Anthony Rizzo, who the Red Sox should have gotten, but who cares? We don't need a first baseman. Nah. But he's raking. Okay, he's already got 3 home runs with them. His OPS with them is over 1,300, which is extremely high for those of you that don't know what OPS is. Dude, I don't understand what the Red Sox are doing. They cheaped out because they didn't want to spend over the luxury tax, and they're running the team like it's a small market team, and it's pissed me off. And I don't want to root against the players, but I don't think that the management deserves them to win because of the way they did not add for the team. Okay? So if there was a way in the perfect world for the players to win but the management to lose, that's what I would be rooting for the Red Sox, because I'm pissed at the ownership. I think they did this team dirty, and the players have reacted accordingly and have started to suck because their attitudes are like, why should we care? They don't care, so why should we care? So fuck the Red Sox season. It's probably over. They might make the wild card. Whoop-de-doo. They'll probably get bounced in one game.
Jeez, this is like the opposite of Homer. Yeah.
Hey,
we
you sound like
we need
me
our
2
social
weeks ago
media
with the
producers.
Lakers.
Listen,
Golly.
they're only saving grace. This is what they're banking on. They're banking on Chris Sale coming back. He comes back on Saturday in a week. Okay? Yeah, he could be their ace, but he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. He's not going to be the same pitcher. Not for a while. Okay? And they're banking on... They got Kyle Schwarber. Okay, cool. Nice little left-handed bat. He's all right. They want him to play first base. He's played first base one time in his career. One game. Yeah, that's not going to go well defensively. That's going to be atrocious. Because despite what most people think, you have to do more than just field throws from your infielders. Okay, you have to be able to play defense. It's actually pretty hard to pick a throw out of the dirt when
Anyways, he could do a split. He's fine.
Yeah. This guy isn't like the most athletic person in the world, okay? He's kind of a hefty boy. So.
But that doesn't mean he's not athletic.
I don't know. I know. I'm saying a stretch is a little harder for a big guy, okay?
Yeah, you're upset. We understand. I'm glad
I'm
that
very
you're getting
upset.
it out. Getting off your chest.
Yeah, I feel
it's needed.
I just wanted to get it out. Meanwhile, Tampa looks like they're going to run away with the division. I hope the Yankees bought all these players this year and still lose. So fuck the Yankees. God. And then...
Tell us how you really feel.
I'm telling you.
Listen, man. The Padres are raking. The Giants are still... They got Chris Bryant, probably the best bat in free agency. Or the trade deadline. And he's raking. He's already hit, I think, 3 home runs for them as well. So they added, despite overperforming this year. The Red Sox didn't, though. The Red Sox said, nah, we're good. We don't want to go over the tax threshold. We don't believe in this team. Okay, that's what ownership said. That's all I got for baseball. We can move along. I'm just perturbed by the whole sport right now.
Let's call it the Red Sox segment. Brian's how to mess up his season segment.
Yeah.
I'm already going to talk to our...
The Red Sox.
I want to talk to our social media expert and have us clip together some stuff between Brian week 1 talking about the Red Sox being great, number 1 in the league, to what he is now. Like, we've come so far.
Listen, man. Listen. The Red Sox are still a good team, but management fucked them. You have to add to this team. This team was never expected to be here right now. Okay?
And that's
the
why
fact
they're not
that they
there.
have gotten here. Well, dude, that's why you need to add some help. Because now you're on the cusp of, okay, we can make this push into the playoffs and we might be able to win it. But instead, management said, "No,
we good.
Nah, we're good. We don't want to go over the tax threshold."
Let's not belabor this any longer.
Yeah. Let's
We'll
go
let
to
you-
a real sport.
We'll let you cool down. Hey, we had some live football. Even though it doesn't count, we had live football this week. So the Hall of Fame
We
game.
did?
Trash.
Yeah, well, I mean, I understand, but like, still, like the atmosphere, like watching it on TV. I don't know. Like, I only watched a little bit of it, but like just watching like the pregame, like it's good vibes. Good vibes. So
Told you how much we miss football.
yeah, that's how much it is that I'm looking forward to watching the Steelers and the Cowboys. Who ended up winning that game? I don't even know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But you know what?
Steelers.
Najee Harris looked pretty good on a couple of his runs in the beginning. I mean, he didn't like break anything long, but like he looked more agile than I thought he'd be behind the offensive line. I don't know. It's just the first
This
couple
guy
series.
has a boner for Najee Harris, okay?
Yeah, like it's crazy. He looks more
taking
agile.
a turn for him.
He had like 3
I'm
8-yard
taking a turn.
runs, and you like he looks agile.
You
Hey.
hear that thud? It was Ryan. He just popped one
Listen.
right on his desk.
Listen,
He's got
I
a little
was
Najee
not.
Harris
I
in his
was.
pants.
I was not a big
Oh
fan.
my god! Yo.
Here's another thing. From a fantasy football perspective, I think me and Brian were talking about this. If you had any doubts who like the number one go-to guy in the Steelers receiving core is, like if you watched any football last year, you knew anytime Deontay Johnson was out there, he's the number one. Like that offense goes through him. He's the number one read every time. He's gonna be your PPR guy. So if you're in a PPR league, he's gonna be the one that's gonna get all the underneath routes, like the first reads, and he's gonna be Big Ben's like favorite target. That being said, a close second is gonna be Chase Claypool.
Without
That guy
question.
he's big playability, but his only issue, you know what they remind me of? It reminds me of like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin like 2 years ago, when it was like Mike Evans is a big play guy. He's gonna make those long chunk plays. He might have like 3 catches for like 105 and a touchdown, whereas Godwin is gonna have like 9 catches for 80 yards and probably a touchdown. So like he's gonna get more volume. Deontay Johnson's going to get more volume, but I think the big playability is going to be from Chase Claypool. So you're going to have to make that decision, and I think both are going to be right. But that being said, Juju is on the outside looking in. So
Yep.
I would fade Juju hardcore.
And Washington asked for a trade too.
Okay.
So that's interesting too. in
Yeah.
that regards.
Wait, I saw something
'Cause
that
Big Ben likes-
he asked
Big
for a
Ben likes-
trade, but then but I heard
Yeah,
that
but there's a lot of mouths to feed there.
Yeah, but Big Ben likes Washington, so I wouldn't be surprised if
I know, but
Juju takes the back seat. Like, because
He only signed
they
a
should
1-year
trade
deal.
Juju.
Juju only signed a 1-year deal, so
yeah.
they could easily just be like, "Hey, anyone want Juju?"
But here's the thing, though. It was Juju. Anytime they needed a play, though, they end up going his way. Like, he always comes up big for them.
That's
He did
because he
last
doesn't even
year.
get.
I mean, despite him not really having a big year, he did come up big for them when they needed it.
I think that most of that is because it was Claypool. You didn't want him to go off, right? And then you didn't want Deontay Johnson to go off because he is the short guy running the bubble routes, the little slant routes, 1-step slant routes. So they're like, let's take that away because we know that's where Big Ben wants to go. But then you have Juju all the time, like on the backside 1-on-1, it was open, and you're like, all right, let's give it Juju. He pops open or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
But yeah, I really don't
So
like. Juju
maybe he'll
in
be a
that aspect,
beneficiary.
so.
Yeah.
Who
Well, you
knows?
don't follow his TikToks?
Corvette.
Hey, the Giants might not have any veterans on their team by the end of training camp
Oh my
because they'll all
God.
just freaking retire. So
Got
we
3
had
retirements so
we
far,
had 3
right?
retirements, 2 on the offensive line that were supposed to be our offensive line depth, and it just so happens that like after the Giants had this like enormous brawl during the first padded practice of training camp, and Joe Looney showed up the next day and was like, "Nah, not about this life," because he had to run 100-yard sprints and do push-ups right after. the team had this brawl. So, I mean, I don't mind because he was like a back end player, but I mean, we needed that depth to have on the offensive line, and he's just not going to be there anymore. He was the only one I was really worried about. The other guy, Fulton, whatever. Go ahead, Kenny. Hit us.
He said, what we got? Oh, we got 15 110s. Oh, nah. Hey. He said, hey, tell Justin, come over here. I need the papers, man. I need to sign them papers. Oh, my gosh. I didn't have nothing. I was just laughing at that.
Yeah, that's rough. Let me go. Oh, Josh Allen signs an enormous deal. I think it was like $43 million a year. I'm trying to find it right now. $258 million, six-year extension. So Josh Allen's stuck there, and then Brian. Obviously, the first thing I said to him was, "Oh, Josh Allen signed this deal." He's like, "Good. I hope he sucks." Like immediately. Yep. So you're kind of a douche. Xavier Howard signed reworked a deal. I think they worked in like $4.5 million in incentives for him this year, so he's gonna try and stay with the Dolphins. There was Darius Leonard signed a contract.
Xavier Howard,
yeah. Xavier. Well, I think is it pronounced Xavier? Either way, the interception leader. He requested. I don't know. There's an X. It sounds like a Z.
Zavion.
Anyways. Darius Leonard, the Colts linebacker, all-pro linebacker, signed a 5-year deal, $99.25 million. I like him at linebacker. Oh, and the Hall of Fame induction was happening this week. Who are the players? I know Peyton Manning's getting inducted. I had the list up earlier.
Charles Woodson.
Adrian James.
Calvin Johnson. Yeah, it's a good class. Was it Troy or was that last year? I think they combined. I thought they had
to give the. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's probably what it was.
Yeah, they combined the speeches, so I just put them all in. Whatever.
But in terms of like this year's like selections, it's a pretty stacked. John Lynch, Alan Faneca, Charles Woodson, Peyton Manning, Calvin Johnson. So, I mean, that's pretty stacked for a class this year. Is T.O. still not in?
No, but you better get your popcorn ready.
Oh, why? You think he's getting in this year?
He deserves to be in. I don't know why he's not. Oh, wait, I do know why. Because he's an asshole, and the NFL does not like assholes.
But he deserves to be in regardless.
I know, but they're going to hold it against him.
100%.
It's going to take a long time.
Let me see what else I had. I think that's it. Do you guys have anything for news this week that happened?
I don't have anything on that.
There wasn't any big injuries.
There's officially a quarterback competition in New England.
Oh my God. He does this every week.
Just remember that. Listen, Cam Newton was dejected in his press conference on Thursday afternoon. He was visibly like down. Like he's usually happy-go-lucky during the press conference. And he was. I think he's not happy with the situation.
Did you see that bomb that he threw?
Handed the keys. What's that?
Did you not see that bomb that he threw in practice? That everybody's like, "Oh my God, Cam got the arm. He's throwing." Did you not see that? The touchdowns he threw?
That's one ball. Mac Jones can do that anytime he wants.
I don't see no Mac Jones highlights him throwing into the end zone.
This guy's a Mac Jones fan right now.
Listen, yeah, I'm a anybody but Cam fan, okay?
That's true.
I just need somebody to go in there, manage my game for me, hand the ball off, throw the ball when we need you to.
Are you Bill Belichick?
Throw it into the dirt, okay? What's that?
I said, are you Bill Belichick? You said the ball for my team.
I mean, I could be. You give me the headset. Let's go. I'll run that team. All right? Let's go. I'll get the boys fired up.
All right, man.
Don't mess with me, Kenny, because I got something else in the works. I've got something in the works for a later episode that I'm going to introduce. I've already got it planned.
Okay.
Oh, I can't wait until we do season predictions. I can't wait.
All right, man.
like
well,
that.
Anyways,
enough of this,
that's foreshadowing.
Enough of this QB drama in New England as we hear every single week. It never fails. We'll get straight into the great debate for this week, man. We have top 5 college teams of all time. You know, NFL is coming up, and I'm a big college football fan. That's coming up, so we want to hit on that. I just want you guys' opinion. Who's your guys' top 5 college teams of all time? Not in any order. You guys can go.
All right, we don't have to do it in any order. All right, good.
Nah, you can say who your number 1 is, but you can do whatever.
All right, you know what? I'm just gonna start with my number 1, just because.
Okay.
Just because I want to. My number 1 is the 2001 Hurricanes. Like
Easy.
I don't know. It's just so easy.
I agree with that.
They were just so good. Like here's the stat I was reading. They allowed just 9.8 points per game. And then against top 15 teams, opponents that year, they scored 236 points and only gave up 72 to those 5 teams and that were all in the top 15. So, like, that team was so good. They had Ed Reed, their backup safety, I don't know, was Sean Taylor. Like, Jonathan Vilma was at the linebacker position. Like, it's a role was there. They had 3 good running backs. Frank Gore. Who were the other 2? Willis McGahee,
and Clinton Portis.
Clint Portis. Yeah. So
Vince Wilfork was there on the defensive line.
Ooh, Wilfork was there. Who was there?
They had Andre Johnson and Jeremy Shockey.
Johnson.
Yeah. Oh, Jeremy
and Kevin
Shockey.
Winslow.
How did I forget? So they are by far my number 1. And you know what? I'm gonna save most of this stuff for Kenny because he's the big college football guy. I'm only gonna give you guys things that like I've watched, things that I can remember. The 04 Trojans, even though it's that's been vacated.
The Reggie Bush
They
show.
reinstated it.
Well, they
did.
reinstated his Heisman. Yeah, they did. But like still, like I mean, some shady stuff was going on. But like the
old Pete
04.
Carroll.
Like
$500,000 house.
So good. The 04 USC Trojans were baller. I loved Vince Young in the 05 Texas Longhorns. That was one of my favorite teams. That national championship game is burned into my memory. That was one of the greatest games I've ever seen on the college level or even on the NFL level too. And then just some honorable mentions. I'm not even listing 5. The Joe Burrow's season with the Tigers,
2019.
He balled out. Yeah, 2019. That was a crazy season. And I'll leave it at that. I mean, I'm probably missing one. I mean, some honorable mentions maybe like Florida team, the Gators team that we're missing out on.
Oh wait.
I mean, yeah.
You'll never see a team play this hard ever again. God bless. That boy starts snapping after that. He started going crazy. That boy, God was coming down and said, I bless you, T-Ball. He started killing.
Yeah. And I won't even mention the 2013 Florida State team because I'm not a big Winston fan, but he balled out that year.
Yes.
He was. It's crazy that of most of the teams, this is why Florida is, and Kenny could talk on this all day long. This is why Florida is the place to play high school or college football, or it used to be. I don't know how much it is now.
Oh no, it's still.
If you're a
is.
player
don't
coming out,
diminish us. Don't diminish.
I mean, Texas might have something to say about that.
Yeah, they're gonna say. Listen, this is the difference. This is the difference between Texas and Florida football, right? Texas, they put their kids in the weight room from when they're in 7th grade, 6th grade, right? So they get all diesel and jacked up. Yeah, they're country strong, right? Right? You got some fast guys that's coming from the urban city areas, right? You got your country boys, they're there, right? But speed kills, and nowhere you can go anywhere in Florida, you can find speed. You can't do that in Texas, but you go anywhere in Florida and find speed, right? And on top of that, we don't got our boys in the weight room 24/7, right? So guess what? Most guys that come out of Florida, they have good pro careers just because they don't have all that wear and tear on their body. They're not in the weight room all the time. But most Texas players, if you see them, their bodies break down because they've been lifting weights for so long. And they're not lifting weights like, oh, just get on there and bench. No, they got like legit strength and conditioning programs. And I don't think people understand how much that tears kids' body when they're 12, 13 years old lifting hard. Like, yeah, it's cool seeing a 12, 13-year-old power cleaning 300, squatting 400. But, like, bro, he's not even past puberty yet. Like, and you mess a man up. So, my bad. I
like that argument.
A little health tangent.
I mean, playing high school football in New York is no comparison because, I mean, the first, like I went to a camp. Shut up. Go ahead. It's cold. All right, Kenny, you want to give yours or Brian?
Hey, I'm just gonna real quick. I'm gonna piggyback off of you, Ryan, because like most of mine are similar to yours.
Nice.
The only thing that I added that you didn't have the '05 Longhorns, did you?
I did.
He talked about it.
I talked about it. Yeah.
You slid by him a little bit quick then. You know, Vince Young.
Like he underestimated Vince Young.
I think everybody did, though. You know what I mean? Like
I didn't think he was gonna be that good.
I didn't think they were gonna win.
Yeah.
And they won.
He was. If he was the Heisman Trophy winner that year, do you think that he goes in with that same determination to win that game? Because like he was kind of sniped that year for Reggie Bush. Not sniped, but like he felt he went in there with a little bit of extra.
I understand.
Was that Bush that got it?
But Reggie Bush got the high.
I thought he should have got it that year
before.
Because Matt Leinart got it the year before when Reggie should have got it, and Reggie got it the next following year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
yep.
Okay. But to Reggie's defense, like Reggie balled out that year too. He was doing some crazy. That game against Fresno State is probably the craziest game I've seen in my life besides Tavon Austin versus Oklahoma in 2013. Like Reggie Bush was doing cutbacks. I'm like, bro, is he playing against Pee Wee team? Like these dudes are slipping and sliding like it's mud out there. Like gosh.
It was double cutbacks. It was all the way 55 yards this way, 55 yards this way, and then I was like, how's this guy not running out of gas? Like I did not understand. He was so good, so good.
Yeah. Also, I wanted to add in. You know, you mentioned Joe Burrow. You need to bring up Trevor Lawrence's team, 2018 Clemson Tigers, when he was a freshman. That team was stacked. Yeah. Now, granted, we're naming off a lot of recent teams. There's probably maybe some old heads out there that'd be like, "Whoa, what about the 1995 Cornhuskers?"
That's not even old. He goes back to 1995.
What, you want to talk about the 52 USC Trojans or something?
There you go.
The 61 U.S. Army Knights, like.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, let's go talk about the 1908 Princeton.
There you go, the Princeton
Tigers with the leather helmets.
Yeah, we didn't need helmets.
All right.
Yeah.
Man, but what's surprising though is that we have yet to name any Alabama teams.
Oh, I was coming. I'm coming.
I'm just saying. Alabama. Coming.
No.
If we were doing programs, Alabama might be the greatest program of all time. Just
not might. They definitely are the greatest.
And I'm not even an Alabama fan.
Yeah.
Like the only team that can probably be comparable is maybe Notre Dame because they had and maybe the U because you had a couple periods that they were like unstoppable. But Notre Dame historically had a lot of teams like that. But what Nick Saban is doing it's just unheard of. And then you have Nick Saban there, but then you had Bear Bryant beforehand. So it's like you had two legends like that's considered the top arguably the top 2 coaches of all time on the same program, which is crazy in its own right.
So here's I mean, I hate to draw a comparison to like Alabama to the Patriots because like Bill Belichick and Saban are such good friends, but like that's what I think of when I think of Alabama. They're just a machine. They're just constantly in it. So like when they go above and beyond and are like all these other teams like Clemson or Florida, like they're trash, and then they have like blow up years. That looks amazing because like when Alabama does it, they have to go above and beyond. Like the Patriots, like you don't ever look at any of their teams besides like the year they lost the Super Bowl to the Giants in 2007. That was like their blow up year. That was like a team that will be in the top 5 teams of all time. But like they lost that year, and none of their other seasons really draw to that comparison because like they have to go above and beyond. I just don't think Patriots. Never mind. I'm not going to get in an argument about the Patriots.
2014, beat the Legion of Boom, one of the greatest defenses of all time.
I'm not having this.
But that was a crazy play. There's no reason why Pete Carroll ever should have not handed the ball off. Did you see Marshawn Lynch on that play before? He ran so hard. I was like, he's running so hard. He's about to run through the ground. He's like a Tasmanian devil right now. And they said, "Oh no, we're going to throw it." Like what? That was a touchdown for sure.
Yeah,
I know.
that's fine.
I'm not taking away from Tom
Okay.
Brady. He came back. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying that last play was just asinine. Like everybody in the whole place said, "Oh yeah, run the ball," and he threw it just because he wanted Russell Wilson and not have Marshawn Lynch.
We're going to totally forget about Tyler Lockett making an unbelievable catch where he kicked the ball up in the air and then caught it. Come on. I'm just saying, or whatever. Okay, so it goes both ways. It bounces out in the end. That's the way I look at it.
Yep, I guess you could say.
Sure, whatever.
David Tyree using Stickum.
It wasn't stick. It was spider tack.
Spider
Tag. He had it before anybody knew. Before anybody knew, they came straight to him for their endorsement.
He didn't play another down because they couldn't get the ball off of his helmet. Okay, they had to take his helmet away.
He walked away. He got his hand and said, "Like, hey, I need y'all to grab this."
Just the glove and the ball are sticking there.
That's it. Throwing the next play with the glove on. Eli has his hand in the glove, throwing the ball.
Kenny,
just take your hand out, bro. I got it.
One day this season, you got to come over for a game to watch football with us one day. Because like as you come down the stairs in my basement, at the bottom of the stairs, it's just a giant signed like David Tyree poster, and it's just there because Brian comes over every weekend to watch football, and I just want him to remember what could have been every time.
What, 8th ring or 9th ring? Is it 8th or 9th?
That would have been 8th for Brady.
Yeah.
7th for the Patriots, but yeah. Anyways.
Man.
Okay, let's hear your team. Let's hear your Florida top 5.
I got a little delay, so I know you guys are probably going to hear me later. But I say, of course, we're both spot on with 2001 Miami Hurricanes without question, not even close, right? Then USC. I'm a Reggie Bush fan, like legit Reggie Bush fan. Like he's the reason why I got in trouble so many times in practice because I thought I could cut back all the time. My coach was like, north and south, north and south, north and south. You're not doing all this east and west. He made players think like, no, I could cut and just keep cutting back. And eventually you guys will get tired. But the only thing that we forgot is that you got to have that stamina too. Because you cut back too many times, you can't breathe and you trip over. A 50-yard run for 2-yard gain. But anyway, so that team in itself was crazy. And then I know you said no Alabama teams, but for me, number 3 on my list was the 2009 Alabama team, only because that was Nick Saban's first championship. That started his dynasty at Alabama, and they had, I think they said they had 30 something, draftees on their team, like their team was stacked. They went 14-0. Their defense was crazy. That was Mark Ingram there, Rolando McClain, Eddie Lacy, Trent Richardson, Drake Kirkpatrick, Mark Barron, Julio Jones, Courtney Upshaw, Deontay Howard, like Hightower. They had Marcellus Darius. They had so many players on that team that like actually had decent NFL careers besides Trent Richardson because he just lost his vision. But everybody else, and Eddie Lacy couldn't put the burgers down. That's two players. But everybody else had decent careers, right? And is still playing to this day. Like Drake Kirkpatrick's still on the team, right? Julio's still him, right? Mark Ingram is still trickling around. I know Rolando McClain retired a little bit, but Dante Hightower, the same thing. So
Eddie Lacy's still playing. He's the center for the Giants.
He's a spokesman for.
He's on that Vince Wilfork diet.
He's a sponsor for Whataburger. Shoot.
Cheeseburger.
What? A burger?
Oh man, so that was my number 3. Of course, number 4 I had was the LSU Tigers 2019. Like what they did that year is unheard of. As far as like they had 14 players drafted top 5 rounds, and offensively, like they were in the modern day, like they were dogging teams like my 5th team, 1995 Nebraska Cornhuskers were doing. They were doing that offensively, like today's day, right? Like when they played Georgia, we all thought that game versus Georgia was going to be a good game. We're like, all right, man, it's going to be a good game. Dog Georgia, like not even close. The Clemson game, we said, oh man, that's going to be good. Trevor Lawrence, dogged them. Get out of here. We're not even seeing you guys. Like it was amazing to see them to play. Like it was just like I'm like, man, they can't keep this up. And they had like young guys just balling now, right? Their receiving core was crazy. But then my last team was Nebraska Cornhuskers 1995, only because I only seen them a little bit on like, you know how like the NBA has the hardwood classics, so that the college football got those classic games. So I only seen it through that eyes. But when I looked at the numbers, the fact that they were scoring 53 points per game back in 1995, when that was still run heavy, thought process was crazy to me. And their scoring defense was 14.5 points per game, and like kind of like how Ryan, you and Brian were saying about Miami just dogging people out. Their closest game was a 14-point game, but they beat number 2 Florida 62-24. All right, like they beat number 5 Colorado 44-21. Like they beat Kansas State 49-25. Like they beat 9 Kansas 41-3. Like they were just dogging people out, and their win margin was 38.7 points per game. Like that was if we were on BK bets back then, that was a sure bet. Like just put your money on whatever the point spread is for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. So like Tommy Frazier, of course, he won. He was an All-American that year, and he was a baller in his own right. I got a couple teams, like there was a couple Alabama teams, right, that honorable mentions. Deshaun Watson, his team, I think that was 2016, right? I think that was their team. That doggone championship game when Clemson, the second one, not the first one against Alabama, but the second one, when it was like 55-53, something like that, crazy, and it was back and forth. That was probably one of the craziest college football games, like neck and neck with 05, Texas USC game, or one of the craziest college football games I've ever seen. Like that was just crazy in its own right. I don't think I'm forgetting it. Okay, of course, 08 Florida Gators team was crazy. 06 Florida Gators team was crazy too. That a lot of people don't think about. That was young Tebow with Chris Leak. They had all the Jailhouse boys on the team. You know what I mean? They still had Aaron Hernandez. Lewis Murphy. They had, they had
the Pouncey brothers.
The Pouncey brothers is on the team. Like I lived in Gainesville during that time, and it was like seeing superstars, just like NFL players before there was NFL, just around the city. Like they got so much love. They got whatever they wanted, and like a young kid growing up in that area, I was like, this is what college football was like. Until I went to college, I was like, nah, bro, you ain't at UF. This is not what it's like. It's not that at all. You got to go to class. You got to do all the work, all that stuff. Like, there's so many stories I heard about like Percy Harvin and all this stuff that was like, dang, they getting away with all that. And I thought I could do the same, but you can't. You know what I mean? They're legendary. That '06 class, '08, like '06 through '08 at Florida is just a legendary like football segment.
I mean,
hopefully
some of those guys are just getting away with murder down there. So
I'm not gonna toe that line. I'm not gonna toe that line with you, okay? So I'm gonna let you have it. I'm not gonna toe that line, right? I am not going to toe that line. I'm gonna let it be. For sure, and of course it was some old school teams, like you said, those 50 teams of Notre Dame, Nebraska, was it Roger Staubach, right? And when he played at the West Point Academy, so it's like those teams, but it's like I've never seen those teams, and I don't think anybody with a leather helmet is going to be able to compete with guys these days. Like a 4.7 back then was like, oh, he's blazing, right? It's like nah, bro, it's not competing today. So. Of course, those 99, those 4.7. You supposed to put your hand in the dirt at that point. In today's day, like, come on now. But no, I said the '99 team with Florida State was crazy too. With Bobby Bowden, RP Bobby Bowden. But yeah, that '99 team was crazy as well. They had with Charlie Ward and all. Oh man, don't get me on that tangent. That was heat. But yeah, that's all I have on far as mine. Like, so we're pretty much spot on as far as teams go.
So much for the great debate.
Sometimes
we're not really
that,
debating.
Like,
this week was
Sometimes, but you can't. It's hard. Like it's hard to debate those teams. Like, what are we gonna say?
Yeah.
No, they're not one. They're two. It's like, bro, at that time, those teams, nobody was seeing them. Like nobody was seeing them. Like that 04 team or 95 or 2000, especially like that 2001 Hurricanes. I don't care what era they were in. You wasn't seeing them. No matter where you put them at, you were not seeing them in any era. They could play right now and they're killing.
Yep.
Like
they're the best team on that list.
Doesn't
Not
matter.
even
Like, do you know how crazy their practices were? Their practices probably was so crazy that it was like, oh, we playing the game? Oh, this is nothing. Like you playing against guys that are like you have so many Hall of Famers on that team, like or Pro Bowlers on that team. So many legendary players in the NFL that's on that team, and y'all playing every day in practice. Like maybe the what it was at 80, 88, 87 team with Michael Irvin and all them, and the original you, that might be the only one that might be like competable as far as all the top talent like competition.
Yeah. And
we forgot Devin Hester was in there. Young Devin Hester.
Oh yeah. Return of kicks.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I would say I'm glad that I didn't hit on a great debate because I was going to tell you guys to take Lewis for the UFC, and yeah, he didn't look good yesterday. old boy from France was putting them hands on him, putting them paws on him, putting him to sleep, and that's supposed to be my guy. Normally he's the brawler, and he was not the brawler yesterday. He was like the bear that got put down. But yeah. Any closing remarks, guys, before we close it out?
I think that's it for this week. I look forward to next week. We're getting closer to football.
Yeah, I'm very excited for football, man. When we get closer to football, guys, we got a lot of things in store for you guys. We're going to change up a little bit. We got a couple segments coming to you. I know Ryan's Fantasies, BK Bets is going to be in full effect, especially with everything legalizing, sports betting pretty much around the country now. So it's going to be very impactful. No, I don't think it's going to get us in trouble because we're going to put a little disclaimer that we are not professionals. We don't know anything about sports. This is just a favoritism picking. I'm going to hit one of those at the end. I'm going to say, BK Bets is not
defined.
I was going to cut to the scene because I did Telemundo. And you'd be like, damn, I hit everything. And then call it a day. So, yeah, like always, guys, we appreciate you guys listening. Follow us on social. Guys, really follow us on social. I'm tired of all these ghost followers, people that saying, yeah, we like you guys, but y'all don't support. If you're not going to support, unfollow us. We want the true fans to be on our pages, subscribe and comment. I'm giving the facts. No, I'm giving the facts, man. All these ghost followers, I'm tired of it.
Get wrecked.
100 followers, but 14 likes. How is that possible? Don't follow us just to, you know what I mean? Just to follow. we need conductive criticism. We want to see what you guys like, and that's how we're going. You know what I mean? And that's the bottom line because Stone Cold says so.
You just opened up a can of whoop ass on their ass.
All right, y'all, man. Have a good night, man. We'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Later.